Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahmavidvaram Satgurum Brahmavidvaram. Om Shri Chinmaya Satgurave Namaha. 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 Please repeat. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. Second verse together. Jantunam narajanma durlabhamatah pumstvam tato viprata tasmat vaidika dharma marga parata vidvatvam asmat param atmanatma vivechanam svanubhavah brahmatmana samsthitihi Muktirno shatajanma koti sukrutaihi punyairvina labhyate. Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji had pointed out 8 steps of spiritual evolution. After being born as a human being, where should one aspire to go? He said the first step is human birth, Narajanma, which itself is rare. Amongst human beings, very few feel the desire to be free, desire to do sadhana, desire to be a better human being, work on lower tendencies. That quality to seek liberation is called as pumstvam. We had seen this in Bhagavad Gita, Shabdakhe Paurusham Nrusho. So Paurusham there refers to one who is seeking moksha purushartha. Same pumstvam is mentioned here. The example of handwriting. Just like we change handwriting, same way we can change our way of thinking. One who is striving to do it, he has the quality of pumstvam. Third one is viprata. Viprata means sattvic lifestyle, sattvic choices. Litmus test of that is peace, joy, knowledge. Clarity of knowledge is there. There is peace in his mind, and mind is joyous. That is a litmus test of sattvic lifestyle. Then the fourth one was he is inspired to live a dharmic life. Tasmat Vaidika Dharma Marga Parata. Compared to sattvic life, one who is living a dharmic life is greater. He takes the effort to understand what do scriptures expect from him. What sadhana he should be doing. As a householder, what he should be doing. As a brahmachari, what he should be doing. The one who is having these qualities, inspiration to live a dharmic life, that is the fourth step. Then the fifth step was called Vidvatvam. Vidvatvam means Shravanam, where he is gaining knowledge of this truth systematically. If he has done step 2 through 4 well, the result of that is step number 5 will start appearing in his life. Meaning what? If somebody has lived a dharmic life, the result of that dharmic life is their quest for truth will become sincere. Shravanam many people will do, but Shravanam with Varanam very few people do. Shravanam means listening, but listening with this idea that I want liberation. Bhagavan says that is greater stage in evolution. 6th step was Mananam, Atma Anatma Vivechanam, discerning between the self and not self, meaning whatever he has heard, he is reflecting on it. Then only he can internalize what he has heard. 7th step was Swa Anubhavaha, which refers to meditation, Nididhyasanam. First hand experience, Swa Anubhavaha if you translate, but be very careful there. When we use this word first hand experience, we should not start thinking, I need to go and experience consciousness. I have heard about consciousness, now let me go do something to experience it. So right from beginning they have been telling us consciousness never becomes an object. We cannot know it through senses, neither the mind. So what does Swa Anubhava mean? In the light of what we have studied, paying exclusive attention to the self. Based on what we have studied, paying exclusive attention to the self, quietening all other thoughts. That is Nididhyasanam. Becoming aware of the nature of self. That is Nididhyasanam, Swa Anubhavaha. And unless we do that, our conviction in truth will not come. We will always feel, I am Brahman because Guru is saying, I am Brahman because Upanishads are saying. All of that is true, but what do you say? So that Nididhyasanam will give conviction in his own nature as pure consciousness. Last one was Brahmatmana Samsthiti. 8th step was that. Brahmatmana Samsthiti means knowledge minus vasanas and bothering mind. Knowledge plus beautiful mind, that is Jivan Mukti. What is his knowledge? Knowledge is I am not the mind, I am consciousness. That blissful self is available for him also at mind level. That is Jivan Mukti. Otherwise what happens is, if mind is unprepared, mind is agitated. In spite of knowledge being there, that person can be miserable. He is talking about Ananda Swarupa Atma, but whenever you see him, he is dukhi. It's a very strange combination, you know. Swami Akhandananji Maharaj, he says, Bhagavan Krishna, who is born in Mathura, has to go to Gokul. He cannot stay in Mathura all the time. He says, Mathura is Shuddha Chaitanya. Go means sense organs. Gokul means all the other sense organs and mind. That blissful self should be available to him even at mind level. He says that is his Jivan Mukti. Knowledge minus vasanas and bothering mind. Technically it is called as Vasanakshaya and Mano Nasha. Those become the critical points. Knowledge he has already gained. Since Shravanam he knows what is the truth. Step number 5 onwards he knows that. But to benefit from that knowledge, he has to go until step number 8. Resolve the doubts, meditate on this truth, and bothering vasanas, remove them. Now Bhagavan, we understood these 8 steps. But you know, whenever I hear too many things, I get overwhelmed. 8 steps for moksha. Can you give me shorter package? Bhagavan says, okay, I'll condense it into 3. See what he says. Durlabham trayamevaitat Devanugraha hetukam Manusyatvam mumukshutvam Mahapurusha samshrayah Durlabham trayamevaitat Devanugraha hetukam Manusyatvam mumukshutvam Mahapurusha samshrayah. Etat trayam durlabham eva. He says these three things to come together at the same time for the same person is indeed a miracle. Durlabham means very difficult. What are these three things? First one he says is human birth, manushyatvam. Second is mumukshutvam. In this human birth, feeling that I am bound, having the intense desire to be free, quest for liberation. That is the second thing. Third one is Mahapurusha samshrayah. Right guidance for me to come out of bondage. Make a triangle. Human birth, manushyatvam. Second is desire for liberation, mumukshutvam. Third is guidance for liberation, Mahapurusha samshrayah. All three coming together, he says it's a great wonder. Just think about it. What would happen if one is missing? Which one should we eliminate first? Okay, manushyatvam you take out. Born as a plant or an animal in an ashram. Desire for liberation is there. Every day Vedanta class happens. Human birth is not there. Second, let us remove desire for liberation. Born as a human being, guidance is there, interest is not there. So many people share, when I was young, Gurudev came to our home. Somebody was sharing this. He said, Gurudev came to our home, he was on the ground floor, I was on the top floor. Means teenage, I had different perspective about spirituality. I said, some Swami is coming, let him come. I will not go. Same person now attends all study groups, Bhajagovindam, Bhagavad Gita. What was missing? Mumukshutvam. Human birth is there, guidance is there. It cannot benefit us unless mumukshutvam is there. Let us remove Mahapurusha samshrayah. Born as a human being, intensely striving for liberation, but no guidance. Born somewhere, some part of the world, no satsang happens. He says that also is not going to help. But Bhagavan's law is such, even if some person is there in such a place, it becomes his responsibility to provide guidance. Gurudev says, if nobody is available, Lord Narayana will tell Lakshmi Devi, 2 minutes, I will come. He has to go there. Just like he says, if a flower has blossomed, bee has to come. If no bee is available, he says, Narayana will become the bee and come. And he will tell Lakshmi Devi, where did you go if she asks? I went to bee. So you went to bee, you will not get it. I went to bee. He says, just like the bee goes to the flower, guidance will come to that seeker who is seeking. When the triangle has to be completed. Who completes it for us? Look at the first line. Deva Anugraha hetukam. It is possible only because of God's grace. Anugraha is a beautiful word. Graha means to hold. And Anu means after. Anu means after, Graha means to hold. So that which comes to us after we hold on to God, that is called as Anugraha. He might have started some simple sadhana, very basic. Kakabhushundiji says, my sadhana was just to take one glass of water, pour it on Shivalinga, chant Bhagavan Shiva's name. That one sadhana took me all the way to moksha. Means conducive situations kept on happening, everything lined up, and I crossed over. He says that kind of yoga, for all three things to come together, that is possible only through this Anugraha. There is another meaning of Anugraha. Anugraha means if we use these three things well, then more grace can come. If we use human birth, desire for liberation, and available guidance well, that becomes a reason for more grace to come to that person. Deva Anugraha Hetukam means that also. These three are responsible for bringing more of God's grace. If let's say somebody reaches some national team, basketball, you will tell that person, you have reached here is God's grace. But don't become comfortable here. Use this opportunity such that you get more of God's grace. That's what Shankaracharya is telling us. May we benefit the most from this Anugraha. If these three things are there, may we use them well so that more of it comes. Generally they say, what we don't use, we lose. Memory also is like that. You don't use, you lose. So three things, if we don't use, we never know which might be missing from the equation. Particularly mumukshutvam. Somewhere this desire comes, I want to be free. Bhagavan says, hold on to it right away. Act upon it. Start doing more shravanam, more sadhana. Because if it goes away, no matter what is there, everything else being there, we will not benefit fully from that thing. Means bondage should become blaring and very real to me. Bondage means sorrow. Sorrow coming from physical body, sorrow coming from mind, sorrow coming from this world. Somebody like Lord Buddha, what was his first teaching? Everything is impermanent. Sarvam kshanikam kshanikam. Then sarvam dukkham dukkham. Because it is impermanent, it is sorrowful. Lord Buddha, few things are like that. He says, no, sarvam. Whole world is like that. There is nothing which can give eternal joy. But whenever you have seen Lord Buddha, have you seen him sorrowful? I was wondering, we have laughing Buddha. That is because his mindset is like this. The one who doesn't expect joy from the world, he'll be really happy. That quest for permanent bliss, nirnaimittika ananda, unconditional joy, that quest is called as mumukshutvam. Happiness we all want, but where are we seeking it? So if somebody gets this understanding by God's grace that only when I abide in this self, only when I attain God, will I be really happy. That quality Bhagavan says, hold on to it very strongly. Okay, and the second thing which is highlighted here is grace. We might have worked hard, but devotee always feels whatever is happening, good things, whatever they are happening, everything is because of Bhagavan's grace. It is the safest way, even in doing sadhana. safest way to do sadhana is make Bhagavan do it through us. Not to say that I am doing it. We were seeing yesterday in Bhagavad Gita class, 13th chapter, Amanitvam, humility. It comes to a person who gets firm conviction that really speaking, there is nothing to take credit for. There were two students who were arguing. Who is greater? I am great or you are great? Both were giving their own points, ended up with a heated discussion. Went to the Guru. He said, Guru, you tell us, who is great? I am great or he is great? Guru said, for such a simple thing you argued, I will tell you who is great. The one who thinks other person is great is great. Both said, what did he say? Who thinks other person is great? Is great. Both were happy. Both went away. Guru was also happy. I mean, this amanitvam is that. Whenever we keep Bhagavan as the main doer, our life is very peaceful. So Shankaracharya says these three things have come to us, but give the credit to Bhagavan. Don't even say Punya Karma got it. In Punya Karma, doership comes. I did Punya. Deva Anugraha Hetukam. Now, Gurudev has given some titles, for every verse. They're very nicely done, set of verses. Verse number, I might change slightly. 4 through 5 is miseries of being unspiritual. Miseries of being unspiritual, 4 and 5. Labdhva kathanchin narajanma durlabham tatrapi pumstvam shruti paradarshanam yasvatma muktyai nayate tamudhadhihi sahyatmaha swam vinihantya sadgrahat labdhva kathanchin narajanma durlabham tatrapi pumstvam shruti paradarshanam yasvatma muktyai nayate tamudhadhihi sahyatmaha swam vinihantya sadgrahat. Labdhva kathanchit narajanma durlabham. By some punya karma, kathanchit, that is something about punya, you never know which karma got you which result. All we can say is results are coming because of past karma. So if I had a flat tire today, I cannot say which karma got me that flat tire. I did not, I am just saying example. So correlation of karma cannot happen linearly. So katanchit punya karma, some action of the past has gotten him this rare human birth. In spite of this, he has also gained pumstvam. Means he was born in a spiritual family, he got spiritual samskara. And he was given this vision of life. He himself started feeling that I have to be a better human being. I should strive for liberation. Long, long ago, he felt that. Then, Shruti Paradarshanam. Shruti Paradarshanam means he has understood Karma Yoga also and he has understood knowledge also. If you ask him, what is the cause for bondage? He says, ignorance is the cause of bondage. You ask him, okay, how will you remove ignorance? He says, knowledge alone removes ignorance. What do you have to gain knowledge? Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. He says, repeat again. Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. He says, are you doing the best that you can? He says, that I don't know. I know this is the thing to do. But he says, whatever best I could do to cross over this samsara, reach the other side. That effort he is not putting in. So Shankaracharya says, somebody who has these three things, human birth, spiritual quest, and gained the foresight also. Yah swatma muktau na yateta mudhadihi. If that person is not striving enough to reach the end goal of self-abidance, to reach the end goal of understanding that I am this unconditioned truth, unconditioned bliss I am, still get stuck with body, mind, ego, he says that is really surprising. Yah swatma mukte na yateta mudhatihi. Shankaracharya is in Bhajagovindam mode now. Muda, he will say, all the way until he wakes us up. Means he is showing us, see how far you have come. Only little bit is remaining. Sa atmaha. These words they will use so that we wake up. Atmaha means he is slaying himself. Then later he will explain what is Atmaha. He says such a person who is not striving to go all the way, he is actually slaying himself. Vinihanti asadgrahat. Because he is dearly holding on to unreal. Because he is holding on to unreal, he is unable to appreciate my real goal in life. But appreciate the person to whom he is speaking. He is not speaking to a completely ignorant person. That's why three things he mentioned. Born as a human being, was spiritual at some point, suddenly got off track. Even used to do Shravanam. He got this vision. Shrutipara Darshanam cannot happen without Shravanam. He has understood what is that truth. But he has not put forth that effort to go all the way to the end. We go to pilgrimage, let us say one place, Vaishnavi Devi. You have to walk 7 miles. Start at night, walk all the way. After 1 mile only people start saying, "Bahut nazdeek hai, bas aa gaya." Right here, right here. And you sweat and go. 6 miles you have reached. This person sees nice stalls there. Very glamorous. Shawls are there. Kashmiri shawl. Then he says, anyway, I have come so far. Let me see what it is. While he is inquiring, goes from one shop, another shop. Another group from top is coming down. They say, "Arey, these shawls are better little down. Niche aur acha milega." Goes with them. Slowly ends up at the base camp. Then other people are there. They ask him, "Mataji ka darshan kar liya? Did you take darshan?" He said, "Darshan I didn't take." "Then you went up." "I went up. 6 miles I walked, came back." What will you call that person? Mudadihi. Main purpose of going there was to see the shrine. You got busy with other things and you came back. He says you missed the main purpose. Bhagavan sends us in this world for some purpose. After dropping this physical body, Bhagavan must be asking, okay, I gave you human birth. Tell me what you did. We should not be like that person. I did everything except knowing the self. So Shankaracharya says, this combination is rare. Human birth is rare. Make sure that if you have started the journey, take it all the way to the end. Don't leave halfway. This is where I was sharing in the morning, the sankalpa which is done in that thread changing ceremony. Kamaha akarshit, manyuhu akarshit. Namo namaha. I mean that person is praying that Bhagavan, after long journey, I have reached here. born as several things. I don't know what brought me here. Having brought to this point, may I strive enough to go all the way to the end. Desire and anger. These two things don't belong to the self. So may what doesn't belong to me be taken away. Kamaha akarshit. Actions were done by kama. Manyuha akarshit. Actions were done by anger. Really speaking, I am that blissful self. I have nothing to do with anger nor desire. O Lord, please lead us there. It is the same, huh? Labdhva kathanchit narajanma durlabham. Same echo you will find in that whole sankalpa which is there. Now, why is he using the word atmaha? Sahi atmaha vinihanti asadgrahat. Atmaha means one who is slaying himself. If there is a revered person is there, if somebody totally ignores that person, it is as good as slaying that person. Even if somebody goes somewhere and you are totally ignored, nobody notices you, that is as good as doing Atmahananam. So Shankaracharya says in Ishavasya Upanishad, slaying the self means that blissful self which is ever present, not paying attention to it. Ignoring the self is slaying the self. That consciousness which is ever present, that is not benefiting in spite of being present. That Bhagavan who is always with us is constantly ignored. He says that is Atmahananam, that is slaying the self. Gurudev writes, fall of the self to remain as finite ego is slaying the self. To remain at the level of ego, body and mind, that is as good as slaying the self which is present right there. Ignoring the self is slaying the self. You can take it that way. Then the last part is Vinihanti Asadgrahat. Why is he doing this? Because he is holding on to unreal things. Now this unreal is very interesting. Huh? Take an example, it will become clear. Mirage water, is it real or unreal? Unreal. If I chase that mirage water to quench my thirst, if I say, okay, here I didn't find it, maybe somewhere else I will find. I go there and search. That is how mirage appears. Huh? You go to that place, it disappears from there. It doesn't stop appearing. It will appear somewhere else. Then you go there. That's why they use the word mruga marichika. Deer running to quench the thirst from one place to another. I say, okay, in summer I don't think I'll be able to catch it. Maybe other season if I try, I will catch it. He says, no, whichever season you try, you are not going to find it. So unreal thing, we can never catch it because it is not there. So I will not get unreal thing because it is not there. Real thing, I never sought it. So what I have not sought, I will also not get that. So unreal I did not get because it is unreal. Real I did not get because I never sought it. So our scriptures are asking us, what did you get? This running around from one place to another with the notion of getting something, that is called as samsara. If you want to make it more precise, we can say running around for happiness with the hope that we'll get it somewhere. That is called as samsara. Vinihanti asatgrahat means that something did not give me joy, I feel something else will give. Some person did not give joy, this person feels somebody else will give. That running around for happiness becomes our bondage. Now Bhagavan says, see, we all are looking for happiness. And our scriptures are telling us that blissful self is the nature of permanent happiness, which is our own nature. And if somebody is inadvertent in seeking it, he says, I just don't get it. Shankaracharya is saying that in one's own well-being, if somebody is inadvertent, he says it's very strange indeed. Look at the next verse. Itah kon vasti moodhatma yastu swarte pramadyati durlabham manusham deham prapya tatrapi paurusham. Itah kon vasti moodhatma yastu swarte pramadyati durlabham manusham deham prapya tatrapi paurusham. Durlabham manusham deham prapya. In spite of getting this rare human birth, paurusham api prapya. In spite of getting that desire for being a better human being, he wants to be spiritual. Itah kahanu asti moodhatma yahtu swarte pramadyati. Who can be there in this world who is inadvertent in his own well-being? Means he reached that 95% mark, but he did not walk that 5% because of ignorance, because of inadvertence. Inadvertence means we know we should be doing it, but we don't end up doing it. If somebody has, let's say, pressure problem, you give him medicine and say, you should be taking this medicine, I'm going out right now. You come back and ask, did you take this medicine? He says, no, forgot. He says, swarte pramadyati. You see the ill effects of the problem, and this could have cured you from that. And you are inadvertent in your own well-being. He says, that is surprising. Sometimes lunch box also, you pack and give food, it will go and come back. He says, swarte pramadyati. You could have eaten it, it would have removed hunger. That is Shankaracharya's feeling. He says, how can somebody not strive for moksha? Now he says, from 6th verse until 13th verse, he is emphasizing that direct means for liberation is knowledge. We might be doing several things, several other spiritual practices. What will give us direct liberation? Main reason is knowledge. Okay, let us see what he says. Vadantu shastrani yajantu devan kurvantu karmani bhajantu devatah atmaikya bodhena vina vimuktihi न सिद्ध्यति ब्रह्म शतान्तरेऽपि वदन्तु शास्त्राणि यजन्तु देवान् कुर्वन्तु कर्माणि भजन्तु देवताः आत्मैक्यबोधेन विना विमुक्तिः न सिद्ध्यति ब्रह्म शतान्तरेऽपि वदन्तु शास्त्राणि. Vadantu means may he quote, or Vadantu means may he recite. Shastrani, scriptures. May he cross-reference scriptures, quote scriptures, or chant Vedic mantras, Vedic chanting. Yajantu devataha, yajantu devan. May he worship, may he do rituals of different deities. Kurvantu karmani, all other rituals which are there, may he do as many as he wants. Bhajantu devataha, may he worship different deities, different days, different deities, may he worship. But Atmaikya bodhena vina muktihi na siddhyati. Without the knowledge of oneness between Jiva and Ishvara, without knowing his own essential nature to be pure consciousness, liberation cannot be attained. For how long if I do rituals? Maybe if I do rituals for a long time, that can bring moksha. Brahma shatantarepi. Even if 100 Brahmajis come and go, and we keep doing these karmas for that duration, he says still liberation cannot be gained. Just to put things in context, 1 year of Brahmaji is 3.1 trillion human years. So if one Brahmaji lives for 100 years, like that 100 Brahmajis come and go, still he says karma cannot give moksha. There was one man who did some practices, meditation. Brahmaji was very pleased with him. He came down and he said, "I am very happy with you. Please ask what you want to ask." This man said, "Brahmaji, first tell me your currency exchange rate. How much is Brahmaloka currency here? How much is $1 of Brahmaloka here?" Brahmaji said, $1 million. $1 of Brahmaloka is $1 million here. So $1 million. How about time? How much is 1 minute of Brahmaloka? He said 1 million years. Million conversion it is. Then this man said, "I am a very humble person. Don't have much desires. Just $1 you give." Brahmaji said, "I'll come back in a minute." Time scale could be so long, but Shankaracharya is very clear. He says, none of these actions can give liberation. Now, what is the error this person is committing in his thinking? He feels that spirituality is some action. He is feeling spirituality is some action. And what Shankaracharya wants to tell is, every action should be made spiritual. Neither is ritual spirituality, nor is chanting spirituality, nor a particular worship spirituality. He says those practices should bring purity, and that purity should take us to truth. If I hold on to that practice alone and feel this is liberation, that practice will not take us to true liberation. Spirituality is not an action. Every action should be made spiritual. It could be any action. That's why Karma Yoga is so great. Somebody might be mopping the floor. Somebody might be cooking. Somebody might be working somewhere. He says it doesn't matter what you do. Bottom line is, has our personality become sweeter? If I define myself with that action alone will come back to cause bondage. It is just like, if let us say there is somebody who does yogasana. You can call that person and say, show me some yogic postures. Show me halasana, show me Shirshasana. Somebody is singer, you can call and say, okay, sing a song and show. But if somebody you say is an honest person, can you call him and say, show me your honesty? You say, honesty is not a particular action. Every action should reflect honesty. It is not even at some time. Sometimes people say, right, weekends I'm spiritual. I say, how can you be spiritual? Or weekdays, what are you? It is just like saying, weekends I'm honest, weekdays I don't know. So it is not a particular action. It is what it has done to that person. If mind has become beautiful and pure, then those practices have helped us. We have an ashram in Uttarkashi, the Pon Kutir. Most texts which are taken there are Vedantic texts. And that aura is also very powerful. Puja Guruji was doing a camp there. Generally the rule is you cannot miss classes. Vedanta class you have to attend. And whole day you will have a schedule. So one delegate, he was not to be seen in the Vedanta class. So Guruji called him later and asked him, what happened? Why did you miss? He said, Guruji, I had gone to Ganga Snanam. Right opposite to our ashram, there is beautiful Gangaji. I had gone to take a dip, that is why I missed the class. Guruji told him, because of all the Ganga Snanam you have done in the past, all the dips in Gangaji that you have taken in the past, you have this opportunity now to take a dip in Jnana Ganga. So that should lead us here. It should not stop us from going here. So all these practices, what is Shankaracharya trying to say? Because if you don't understand it correctly, we might walk away with the erroneous meaning. Generally, people don't like Vedic chanting. Anyway, it was difficult. See, Shankaracharya only said, doesn't give moksha, why should I do? Worship of the Lord, anyway, I was not getting it into my routine. He says, anyway, it's not leading to moksha, why should I do? The point is, all these rituals have their own efficacy. If we chant Vedic mantras with the right intonation, in the right way, then and there, mind will become calm. Not even in the future. Like you chant now and later on you will feel that peace. Right when you are chanting, you will feel it. Ritual of, let's say, Gayatri Homam. We should do it and see the purity which it invokes. You cannot replace it by anything else. Our Vedas have 100,000 mantras, roughly. Out of 100,000 mantras, 80,000 mantras are on rituals. 16,000 mantras are on upasana. Karma and upasana forms 96% of Vedas. How much is Vedanta? Innocent 4%. Within that is our Ishavasya Upanishad, 18 mantras. What does it say? What does it show? That it has its own importance. Do you remember that analogy we had seen of the river and two boats? One boat will take us from one shore halfway. Then second boat we have to sit. It will take us to the other shore. That first boat was of 96% of Vedas, karma and upasana. Or if you want to simplify it, Bhagavan Krishna says, we will get confused if you say karma, upasana. He says karma yoga. Simple words in Bhagavad Gita, he says bhakti yoga, karma yoga. It will beautify our mind in such a way, day-to-day concerns and worries, they will just disappear. Making God big in our life. Every problem will look small. That sadhaka is made to sit in the second boat, which is of knowledge. Why can't I directly sit in the second boat? Because that boat doesn't come to my shore. It starts halfway. So if I have perspectives that I need from the world, Vedanta will not directly address it. What will address it for me is Karma Yoga. But if I say Karma Yoga will give moksha, Shankaracharya says, first think about it. Okay, before you say moksha, liberation, first define what is bondage. What is bondage according to Advaita Vedanta? Not knowing my true nature as blissful self. Ignorance of my blissful nature is bondage. If I don't know myself as blissful self, I don't stop there. I identify with ego, perceiver, feeler, thinker. And since I don't know, I am bliss, I search for that bliss outside. In that quest of bliss, in that quest of happiness, objects are not going to give me permanent happiness. There is so much of stress and strain. There will be anger, there will be greed, there will be jealousy. All of that is a later part. What is at the root of it? Ignorance of my true self. This we should make it very clear. Bondage is ignorance of my blissful self. Moment I realize it, moment I turn my attention to it, all other things will disappear. This is what Upanishads are trying to do. Shift our attention to the self. So if bondage is ignorance, what should be the antidote of ignorance? Knowledge alone. If there is darkness in the room, what is the antidote of darkness? Light. If I say I want to sweep the darkness out, it says Brahma Shatantarepi, you keep sweeping, it will not remove darkness. Antidote of darkness is light. You bring light, darkness will go. Like that, antidote of ignorance is knowledge. That's why he is giving that example. Atmaikya bodhena vina vimuktihi na siddhyati. Without self-knowledge, liberation is not possible. And we should not feel that Bhagavan Shankaracharya is fanatic about knowledge. Generally, this is the question we have. Don't all paths lead to that same truth? You see what he says. Atmaikya bodhena vina muktihi na siddhyati. He is not fanatic. What he is saying is, first appreciate what is bondage. According to bondage, you will have liberation. So if bondage is ignorance, liberation cannot be an action. Liberation cannot be through an action. No action can remove ignorance from our mind. In Atma Bodha, Shankaracharya gives example of cooking rice. If I have to cook rice, what are the steps involved? I have to get rice from the supermarket. Then take little bit of rice, put it in a container. Put some water there. Until this point, everything is good. They're important. But unless I turn on the fire, he says rice will not be cooked. So what is the main cause of cooking rice? Fire. Pakasya vahanivat jnanam. Just like you need fire to cook rice, that is a main ingredient. Main ingredient for liberation is knowledge. Does that mean going to the supermarket is not important? Does that mean container is not important? All steps are there, but they are the preceding steps. The most important step is lighting that fire. Okay, Atmaikya bodhena vina vimuktihi na siddhyati brahma shatantarepi. Even if several Brahmajis, they come and go, without knowledge, liberation is not possible. Okay. If there are any questions, objections, you can come up to the mic. Please speak to the mic. If you can line up, we can plan our time well. We will try to stop on time. Yes.
Yeah. Hari Om Somji. So, I was looking into this verse number 4, wherein you're talking about Vinihantya Sadgrahat, right? So, I was remembering the story of, in Srimad Bhagavatam, we have Bharata Maharishi, who was on the verge of attaining Jnanam. And
Who?
Bharata Maharishi.
Bharata Maharishi.
And just before he fell into an attachment stage with the deer, and then just like coming down from the Vaishnava Devi hill, right? So, my question is, can Prarabdha do that? Can we have Prarabdha that can stop you from going ahead and allow you to cling on to some certain things?
Very good. The thing is, no matter which Prarabdha is there, Bhagavan says Purushartha is also in the same place. So Prarabdha will play a role either in taking us towards liberation or sidetracking us. But we should remember, Prarabdha is not some independent thing. My Purushartha of the past is my Prarabdha today. It is not something sent by God. Prarabdha is not sent by God. It is ordered by the Jiva. So Bhagavan says it is true that some Prarabdha might be there, which is sidetracking. But right there, he has kept Purushartha also. If he exercises it well, maybe his journey might be slowed down because of this negative Prarabdha. But it will help him cross over it sooner, instead of just getting carried away. Good.
Sohamji, I heard you mentioning upasanas a lot in the talk. So what are upasanas?
You can sit. Upasana in simple words is turning mind towards God. Upa means closer, asanam means to sit. Upasanam. So how do we take our sitting, not physically sitting closer, but mind should come closer to God. That is upasana. Okay. 2 more minutes. If anybody has anything, ask it now.
Are the 8 steps from verse 2, your path to spiritual evolution, do they happen chronologically or need to be met one before the other? Because last class you were telling us if one is not met, go back, which seems to imply yes.
That is true. If we do the previous step well, the next step becomes well rooted. Think about it the other way. If somebody does Vedanta Shravanam without the previous steps, means his lifestyle choices are Rajasic and Tamasic, and no sadhana he is inspired to do, then that Vedanta Shravanam will not take root. Even if I listen to it, it will not be well settled. But does it mean that if we have gone to the next step, we should not be doing the previous step? It is not necessary. It might be possible that we have to go and work on previous steps. Moment I do it, I will realize my mananam is becoming strong. Even that Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, if you see, if I am unable to meditate, one reason could be I still have doubts. My conviction in the truth has not come very strongly. How is this Jagat Mithya? I'm not convinced yet. Brahma Satyam is fine. Jagat Mithya part, that there is only non-dual truth, on that I have not gotten clarity. Why are doubts there? Because my Shravanam is not thorough yet. Sporadically I heard. So each step is going to lead to the next one. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.